Welcome to this sacred pause, a space where urgency dissolves and stillness becomes sacred ground. Here, time stretches, and the outer noise fades into a quieter meaning. This is a moment just for you. No demands, no expectations, only the permission to be. Allow yourself to lean inward, where answers don't need to be spoken, because they are already resonating within you. It doesn't matter where you've walked today or what moments have lingered in your path. What matters is this exact now. Here, you plant a new seed, even if you don't yet know what it will become. At this moment, something ancient within you begins to rise, something essential, unspoken, a calling that doesn't shout but whispers with quiet clarity. It is time to transform. Have you noticed how life sometimes feels like a loop? Repeated emotion, familiar scenes, recurring situations that seem to echo the past. That's no accident. It is the result of a subtle program running deep within, the unconscious. A wide, mysterious territory that often shapes what you feel, say, and choose without you even realizing it. The unconscious is not an enemy to be defeated. It is a forgotten messenger. It does not work against you. It moves to preserve what it once learned as safe. Every belief, emotion, and experience you've lived creates patterns. And over time, those patterns become default responses. Eventually, responses turn into life paths, and paths become reality. But there is something greater than destiny: awareness. And when awareness joins intention and sincere feeling, something new is born, reprogramming. Not a struggle, but a return. In this video, you will be gently guided to cross this portal, a silent one, but deeply transformative, a journey from within to what lies even deeper within. Breathe in deeply and allow yourself to be moved by words that don't aim to convince, but to echo. This is an invitation to your original nature, to the part of you that was never conditioned, the one who's been waiting for the right time to rise, and perhaps that time is now. The unconscious is like fertile soil, often untouched. Everything you felt, seen, or believed is stored in it, quietly shaping your reactions. Unlike the conscious mind, which analyzes and decides, the unconscious processes symbols, images, and emotion. It doesn't think. It mirrors. It doesn't question. It obeys what was embedded long ago. As children, our brains operate in slower waves, especially theta, the same waves seen during deep meditation. In this state, the mind doesn't filter. It absorbs everything: voices, glances, silences, fears. All of it becomes blueprint. The unconscious stores these impressions without needing your permission. And those imprints can last a lifetime, shaping how you feel safe or unsafe in the world. These emotional blueprints become inner scripts, and even as adults, we often act from those scripts, long after they've lost their usefulness. The brain, in its brilliance, seeks to conserve energy by automating patterns. So we act on autopilot, not because we want to, but because it's what the brain finds familiar. That's why change can feel so difficult, not because you lack will, but because the code beneath has not yet shifted. Modern neuroscience confirms that as much as 95% of our behavior is governed by unconscious programming. That means you can want change, consciously, but your body, emotions, and nervous system may still be operating under outdated instructions. It's not sabotage, it's survival. The unconscious only protects what it believes is still necessary. But there's powerful hope in this. The brain is plastic. It can be reshaped. New pathways can form. The mind can learn to trust new vibrations. But this doesn't happen through thought alone. It requires emotion. The unconscious doesn't listen to logic. It listens to feeling. What you feel deeply, whether imagined or real, becomes the code it follows. That's why this journey we begin is not only scientific, but deeply sacred. You're not just changing thoughts. You're unlocking parts of your soul that have been waiting to feel again. Reprogramming begins when feeling and intention unite, and from there, a new story can be written, not in the mind, but in vibration. The unconscious, though unseen, is one of the most powerful forces guiding your life. It doesn't speak in sentences. It moves through reactions, impulses, and emotional patterns that often seem to arise from nowhere. Imagine it as a backstage system, one that influences your choices, fears, and desires, without needing to ask for permission. This is the hidden architecture of behavior. In early childhood, especially before age 7, the mind is in a state of deep openness. Brain waves are slow, similar to those in hypnosis. At this stage, everything is absorbed: voices, glances, emotions, energy. The child doesn't analyze, it receives. And what is received becomes internal truth. A parent's anger, a teacher's silence, a lack of affection, all of it becomes memory code. And those impressions become emotional patterns. And unless revisited, those patterns repeat. That's why you may find yourself reliving similar situations, reacting the same way, attracting familiar discomforts, even when your conscious mind longs for something different. The brain simply follows the road it already knows. Change requires the creation of a new road. But here's the challenge. You can't rewrite a program with thought alone. The unconscious doesn't understand words. It understands frequency. It learns through emotion. What you feel most strongly is what it remembers. This is why traumas are deeply stored, and also why healing, when done with emotional presence, becomes so deeply transformative. Repetition is also essential. One gentle affirmation said once has little effect, but when repeated with sincerity and feeling, I am enough, I am safe, I am loved, it begins to take root. The unconscious doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. It only knows what is repeated with belief. That is how you begin to shift the code. Reprogramming is not about erasing the past. It's about planting new possibilities. The old doesn't need to be fought. It needs to be rewritten with a stronger emotional vibration. You are not here to fix what's broken. You're here to awaken what's waiting. And that awakening begins when thought and emotion walk together toward coherence. Now let us step deeper, beyond the neurological patterns, into the emotional and spiritual field where your transformation truly begins. This field holds more than memories. It holds vibrations, echoes of old emotions that were never expressed, felt, or fully released. These echoes shape the quality of your days. often without you realizing it. It is not mystical, it's energetic resonance. Have you ever felt an emptiness without reason? A sudden sadness or fear without logic? This isn't weakness, it's the soul's language. The unconscious speaks in emotion, and some emotions, when ignored, settle like sediment in the body. They do not go away, they wait. And when we grow quiet enough, they begin to rise. But sometimes what you carry doesn't even begin with you. There are ancestral emotions, generational fears, inherited energies that pass through blood and silence. You may not know the whole story, but your nervous system remembers the vibration. And when you choose to heal, you're not healing only yourself. You become a point of shift, a bridge for your lineage, and healing begins to echo backward and forward. And this is why spirituality is not belief, it is perception. It is the ability to listen with the inner ear, to see what the physical eyes can't. The unconscious is the gateway to intuition, to dreams, to symbols that carry truth beyond logic. When you open that door, you don't just access memories, you access wisdom. You begin to remember yourself beyond time. And so reprogramming becomes sacred. Each new belief formed in love is like a light offered to your soul. Each emotion processed with honesty is a step back into integrity. The work may appear silent, but it shifts everything. It's not about becoming someone else, but returning to the wholeness that was buried beneath the noise. You are not here to merely survive. You are here to remember, to restore what was forgotten, to transform pain into clarity. And in doing so, you make space for something extraordinary. The realization that the unconscious, when embraced, becomes not a cage, but a bridge, one that leads you back to who you truly are. 5. Thought and emotion, 35 to 50. The dance between mind and feeling, balanced, introspective tone. Many believe that changing your thoughts is enough to change your life. But thought alone doesn't shape reality, unless it is matched by emotion. The unconscious does not respond to logic. It responds to vibration. And vibration is created when what you think aligns with what you feel. The mind provides the direction, but the emotion gives the movement. Have you ever repeated a positive affirmation while secretly feeling the opposite? You say, "I am worthy," but inside there's fear or doubt. That creates inner dissonance, and the unconscious, loyal as it is, tunes into the emotion, not the words. It follows what vibrates most powerfully, and what vibrates loudest is always what you feel. And this is why true reprogramming starts with emotion. It's not just about changing mental patterns. It's about generating new internal experiences. When you visualize a more loving version of yourself and actually feel peace, gratitude, or joy, even for a moment, you're planting real data in the unconscious. And that data begins to shift how reality forms around you. There is a subtle partnership between thoughts and feelings, and this alliance creates your perception. Your perception shapes what you see, what you attract, and what you block. The world is not simply what it is. It reflects how you resonate. The unconscious doesn't filter life as it is. It projects through the filters it inherited. Change the filter, and the whole image changes. This realignment doesn't require perfection. It begins in simplicity, small rituals, a breath taken with full presence, a word said with the heart engaged, a gesture of kindness toward yourself. These moments realign the system gently. You don't need to force anything. You just need to practice feeling on purpose. With time, that creates coherence. But you can choose your new frequency, not through willpower alone, but through presence. Every time your thought honors your feeling and your action follows both, the unconscious opens to a new code. It no longer resists. It begins to collaborate. And when that happens, reality stops repeating. It starts becoming. Now, I invite you to a journey inside. Settle into a comfortable position. Breathe in deeply. And as you exhale, let go of the weight of your day. Imagine that with each breath, you're drifting closer to your inner center, a quiet, sacred space in the heart. In this space, nothing needs fixing, only witnessing, only being. Now picture a room within you, ancient, familiar. In that room sits a child, you, at any age. This child is the face of your unconscious. Look at their posture, their eyes, their expression. Maybe there's fear, fatigue, joy, or silence. Whatever is there, just observe. Don't judge. Be present. Approach them gently, like you would something sacred. Ask this inner child, what do you need me to hear? The answer may come not in words, but in images, emotions, or sensations. Perhaps a memory rises, perhaps just a wave of feeling. Stay open. Say to this child gently in your mind, I'm here now. You are no longer alone. Let these words carry a vibration of truth. Let them settle deep. Now, visualize yourself embracing the child, and in that embrace begin to transmit a new message. Whisper mentally, you are safe, you are worthy, you are deeply loved. Repeat these affirmations with sincerity. Let any emotion that arises come freely. This emotional presence is the very language of healing. The unconscious recognizes love before it understands logic. See this child beginning to glow. The light expands until it merges with you, no longer separate. What was once fragmented now returns to wholeness. You carry this light now, and you can return to this room anytime. This space is always here. Every visit reinforces the path. Every return deepens the transformation. Now, slowly bring awareness back to your body. Breathe deeply once again. Move your hands, your feet. Let the space around you return softly. And carry with you the stillness, the presence, and the clarity you found. This experience may be complete, but the reprogramming has just begun. Quietly, truthfully, and from within. Reprogramming the unconscious is not a one-time event. It's a slow unfolding. Like watering a plant, your new inner message must be nurtured with consistency and care. Lasting change isn't about doing more. It's about doing with presence. Even the smallest gesture, when done with awareness, becomes powerful. A new emotional habit is born in these gentle repetitions. Begin your days with intention. Before reaching for your phone or stepping into roles, pause, breathe, ask, who do I choose to be today? You don't need a detailed answer, just a feeling, a frequency. This simple moment of direction becomes a signal to your unconscious. It says, we are walking a new path now. And slowly, the path becomes familiar. Pay attention to what surrounds you. Everything communicates with your nervous system. Colors, sounds, people, spaces. Your unconscious is constantly receiving impressions. Choose what nourishes your frequency. Be mindful not only of what you eat or watch, but of what you absorb emotionally. You are the result of everything you allow into your field. When you fall into old patterns, as you will, meet yourself with kindness. Healing is not about perfection. It's about returning to center after the spiral. Every return strengthens the new neural path. The unconscious is not looking for flawless behavior. It's looking for emotional truth and the courage to realign when you forget. But create small, sacred rituals. They can be simple, lighting a candle, writing a loving word to yourself, touching your heart and saying, "I'm here." The unconscious doesn't need grandeur. It responds to symbolism. It recognizes intention. When you treat your reprogramming as something sacred, it deepens, not because of effort, but because of reverence. Back and remember, nothing true is ever lost. Every breath taken with presence, every tear cried with awareness, every moment of stillness carries power. Even when results are invisible, transformation is already underway, like roots growing silently beneath the soil. Trust the invisible you're planting. It is real. You've come this far, and that already says everything. Many voices may have once told you change was hard, that healing was slow, that you had to earn your worth. But now, something else has stirred. Today you've experienced that transformation doesn't need to be loud. It happens in silence, in presence, in the still space where you finally listen to yourself. The unconscious is no longer just an idea, it is a doorway. And today you've stepped through it. You may not feel different yet, but something inside has shifted, something quiet, but irreversible. A seed has been placed, and that seed holds an entire forest of becoming. It doesn't matter how long it takes, it's already begun. You don't need to erase your past to change your future. You simply need to see the past with new eyes. Eyes that don't judge, don't fight, only understand. The moment you stop resisting your story, you begin to write a new one. And this new story starts with one thing: space. Space for who you truly are to finally take root. May this video be more than a message. May it be a frequency you carry. Let the words fade, but let the vibration remain. Because it is often in the quiet between words where truth speaks loudest. It is in the pause where the soul reawakens. And it is in that inner stillness where the deepest reprogramming begins. If you ever feel the need to return, do. This space is open, always. It exists beyond content. It exists as a mirror that shows you who you are when all noise is removed. And what you see is not broken nor lost. It is complete. It has always been here. It was simply waiting for you to notice. Now, take this with you. Walk with presence. Live with softness. Allow yourself to be new again and again. Because the real reprogramming is remembering that you are already free. You always were. You always will be. Let your inner light guide what comes next. And so, see you in the next video with more information on everything that involves growing, evolving, transforming, and manifesting. See you soon.